Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video, and today we are taking a little bit a steer away from Jada, just for a second. We do cover other lines on this channel. I know it doesn't seem like it all the time, but we do. They are kind of peppered far and in between, but they are there. If you take a look, if you look around the channel, there are videos that do not cover Jada toys. But this one was interesting. Being San Diego Comic-Con, things are being announced left and right, here and there, and if you don't pay attention, you could definitely miss some stuff. Now, Mcfarlane, I have kind of fell out of that line. When I started collecting, Mcfarlane was probably my biggest line that I collected. But over the years, the characters have just gotten a little too out there. I'm not resonating with everything that they've been dropping, except like the Dark Knight and some of the major comic book characters that they drop here and there. So I now dabble in Mcfarlane. It's not to say I don't like Mcfarlane. It's just they release so much goddamn stuff that you would have to be one of well off in the financial department to collect everything that they drop. So I have to really pick and choose with Mcfarlane here and there, but they do have some stuff that I'm paying attention to, and that's what we're going to cover today. They actually got the license. Now, I don't know if it's under the DC license. I would assume it is, but just no one's covered this particular movie. It was very controversial and still is, I guess, to some degree. It was all over the news. It set box office records, and, well, that's what we're going to cover today. So let's take a look as it was announced at the Mcfarlane panel at SDCC. Let's see what we got. All right, here we go. Our first photo here. They did get the license to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Now, I don't know why this has taken so long to do. I know there was a lot of controversy around this particular film. Not for me. I didn't have any controversy with it. The scene that everybody seemed so appalled and taken aback by was nothing you couldn't see in your average horror film or your average rated R film. I'm not going to say what happens, but it was nothing. Like, even some of the there was one other scene that I guess that was pretty crazy with some scissors that, again, like I said, if you've seen horror movies, this isn't anything that far off from what you'd see there. In fact, probably pretty tame come to today's standards with some of the horror films, but I am so excited they decided to tackle this line. However, there are some questions here. Last year on the panel, they were a year off on their slides. This says fall 2024. Does that mean fall 2025? Are we a year behind? I don't get it. I hope it's this fall because there is a Joker movie too, Lady Gaga musical, that is coming out. So it would be perfect timing to release this. If they released it next year, it would probably be still very popular, as this character has been, highly sought after. A lot of third-party companies have made this, but none of the big lines yet have tackled it, and Papa Todd says he does not give a shit. He will tackle it. So, very interesting here. Let's take a look closer. As we dig deeper into the actual figure itself, as you can see, it was pretty standard body mold, but the fact that it looks to be a deluxe edition with 2 additional head sculpts, as you can see, the one that's actually attached to the body, Papa Todd got the blood smear on there. I can't remember the last time I've seen a blood smear on an actual figure, which makes me think this is going to be a Mcfarlane store exclusive. I would be very shocked if they were able to get this out to the main Targets and Walmarts of the world. Granted, I would think this would be it seems like Mcfarlane does a lot with Targets, so I would think that it'd probably be a Target exclusive if anything, but I don't think so. Because of the blood itself, I think that it will be a Papa Todd exclusive in being exclusively on the Mcfarlane store. And being a deluxe, I would be shocked if it was at its standard retail of $24.99. I could definitely see this one probably being a $30, $35, maybe as high as $40. I'd hope not, but you never know with Papa Todd. He was one of the guys that kept prices pretty low for a long time, but when you've got a figure like this, and the head sculpts look awesome, so you get the blood smear one that's on him immediately, you get that smile on the left, and then you got that kind of just dead zombie look, lost all reality, dead stare on the right that I absolutely love. I am so excited for this, really hoping this is coming out what the panel says in 2024, and immediately I have to apologize for the quality of the pictures. It amazes me that everyone seems to have a phone with 9 lenses on the back of it, and everything still looks like it was taken on a potato. But granted, I don't know that phones were actually supposed to be allowed at this particular panel, and that's probably the case. But yeah, I don't know why the quality is still so bad, but we'll take what we can get around here. Moving along to the next photo here, I cannot believe we are getting this. We are getting the Murray Franklin Tonight Show diorama with 2 figures. Now, this is absolutely insane, and for a couple different reasons. One, I think this would be so cool that you could obviously create your own, like, little plastic sign or little paper and cover up the Murray Franklin and have, like, you're just a blast having different Tonight talk shows with different figures and all sorts of things. So immediately for figure photography, this is a slam dunk. But 2, one of the most controversial, if not the controversial scenes of the movie, they cannot execute properly because if you know DC, they don't allow guns. So obviously everyone's got a revolver that they can use and attach to the Joker should you want to create that scene from the movie. But I just found it funny that the one scene that they need an actual gun for, they can't actually include. But nonetheless, regardless, that's such a small piece that anyone that has ever collected a figure from any other line will have one laying around that they can definitely include should they want to do that. And I just love everything about this. This is to me, so if we were to go, it looks like you get the Robert De Niro figure, which they might have actually got the license to his likeness because it looks exactly like him. So kudos there. And then do what you will with that figure. I mean, you could double up on the Robert De Niro figure. You could paint his hair black, color the suit. You got a Casino figure. You got a Godfather figure. I mean, there's a lot you could do with the Robert De Niro figure alone. And then you just get an additional Joker figure. So, looking very cool. If I had to price this out, I'm going to say maybe 80 or 70 or 60 to 80, somewhere in there. Because you got to think $25 a pop for each figure, so that's 50. And then the stand, the diorama is probably going to be... Now, I can't tell. It almost looks like that's a backdrop. So, I wonder... Well, now that I'm looking at it, I can't tell if that's like a backdrop. I hope that's the set. I'm assuming it's the set, but they just didn't do like a 3D render on the actual photo. It almost looks, now look at it, like maybe a backdrop, like that goes behind the... I don't know. But it looks very, very... I hope they do the actual pieces, but we'll see, I guess. But now kind of looking at it, I'm like, wait, maybe that's just the backdrop that they put behind the figures, and then in the box, they just have them look like they're sitting. But I don't know. We'll see, I guess. If it's an actual set, maybe this comes out to 80 or 90. If it's just a backdrop, then this thing should be like 50, 60 bucks. So I guess we'll have to see. But nonetheless, the fact that we're getting this at all, very, very cool. Alright guys, taking a look at the last photo here is just a closer up image of the 2 figures that you'll get in that set. I'm really starting to think that's just a backdrop now, like it's not an actual toy set. I wish it was, but the way it's kind of rendered out makes me think it's just going to be a backdrop, kind of like the scene, like if you got the Joker interrogation scene, it wasn't actually, well, there were some pieces in that, so I don't know. I guess, I hope there's a chair, I hope there's a desk, and then maybe just a cardboard backdrop for the Murray Franklin show is what I guess would be my guess now on that. But regardless, look at the Robert De Niro figure. It looks exactly like him. And then the Joker figure. This is a slam dunk set. Like the deluxe figure and this particular set, absolutely fire. I can't believe they got the license. Again, I don't know. I just think a lot of companies were afraid to tackle this line because there was a lot of controversy. It was on the news, but it broke records. I believe it's one of, if not one, I think it's broke a record for being like the most sold rated R film in like a weekend or of all time. Something along those lines. I can't remember off the top of that, but it broke records. But there was a lot of subjects that were very sensitive to people. It did cover mental illness and things like that, and it's just a very touchy subject, so I think main companies were going to try and not dip their toe in, but Papa Todd don't give a shit, and here it is, and he's going to make a fortune off this. I know I'm going to be getting at least 2 of each, so he's got my money already, and like I said, I now dabble in Mcfarlane, but this is one of the ones that I come out the woodworks for, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I should have a Jada video later today on the final figure or maybe accessories. I have no idea what's dropping. I'm assuming it's Akuma, but we will have to see. And if you are new, we are on the road to 1,000. I'd greatly appreciate it if you considered subscribing. But if you don't want to do that, leaving a like definitely does help. I love you all. I will see you on the next one. Richie Figs. Later.